Before the sun rises over Cebu City, the streets are already alive with quiet struggle, from cooking fires. In a narrow alley behind the port lives a young man named Lio. His home is a single room built from scrap wood and rusted metal sheets, patched again and again after every storm. Rain leaks through the roof, and when the wind blows hard, the walls sing like they might fall apart. Lio wakes up each morning before the city fully breathes, because sleep never stays long with hunger. He washes his face with cold water from a shared tap, and looks at his reflection in a cracked mirror. His eyes carry exhaustion, but also something deeper, a quiet, stubborn light that refuses to go out. Music is the only thing that makes time slow for him. He does not own instruments or speakers, just an old phone with a cracked screen, and borrowed earphones held together with tape. When he presses play, the noise of the city fades. The music pulls him inward like a tide, drawing him away from the shore. In those moments, he feels hypnotized, not trapped, but freed, as if sound itself wraps around his chest and steadies his breath. He hums softly, afraid to wake his neighbors, yet unable to stop himself. His mother used to listen to him from the doorway, smiling even when worry lined her face. She is gone now, taken by illness that came faster than help ever could. Since then, Lio sings only when he is alone or when the city is loud enough to hide him. Days pass in repetition. He helps at the docks, carrying boxes for a few coins, and some days not even that. His hands are rough, his back sore, but his mind drifts always toward melody. At night, he sits near the water, watching lights from ships ripple across the dark surface. He sings to the sea because it does not judge. Sometimes passers-by slow their steps, drawn by his voice, and for a moment he feels seen. Then they move on and the night closes again. He never thought stages or judges or foreign lands were meant for someone like him. Dreams feel expensive, and he has barely enough to survive. Everything changes when a man from a small local charity hears him sing by chance. The man stops, listens, and does not interrupt. When Lio finishes, embarrassed, silence stretches between them. The man asks where he learned to sing. Lio shrugs and says from life. Days later, the man returns with news about auditions for Ireland Got Talent and a belief that sounds impossible. He says people need to hear this voice. Lio laughs at first, thinking it is a joke. How could he afford travel or even a passport? How could he stand on a stage so far away, when he barely stands tall here? But the idea lodges itself inside him and refuses to leave. The community surprises him. Neighbors who barely have enough themselves donate small amounts. A fisherman gives him money meant for net repairs. A woman sells homemade food for a week and hands him the earnings. Each peso feels heavy with trust. When he finally holds the plane ticket, his hands shake. He has never left the Philippines, let alone crossed oceans. The night before he leaves, he returns to the pier and sings one last time to Cebu City, promising not to forget where he came from no matter what happens. The journey is overwhelming. Airports feel like cities inside cities, filled with rushing strangers and languages he does not understand. On the plane, he stares out the window as clouds swallow the world below. He closes his eyes and listens to the hum of the engines, letting it blend with the song in his head. Fear and hope twist together in his chest. He thinks of his mother and of the neighbors watching old television sets, waiting to see if he will even appear on screen. Dublin greets him with cold air and gray skies. His thin jacket does little to keep out the chill. Backstage at the audition hall, everything feels too bright, too polished. Other contestants stretch their voices, adjust costumes, talk confidently. Lio stands apart, clutching his worn backpack. His clothes are simple and worn, and he feels the weight of every difference. A producer asks his name and where he is from. When he answers Cebu City, the producer smiles kindly and tells him to wait. When his turn comes, his legs feel heavy. He walks onto the stage under lights that blur his vision. The judges sit before him, faces serious, curious, guarded. The audience murmurs, sensing something fragile in the way he stands. A judge asks him why he came all this way. His voice shakes as he speaks about poverty, about music being the only place he feels safe. He does not try to sound inspiring, he just tells the truth. The room grows quiet in a way that feels like being held. The music begins soft and slow. Lyle closes his eyes because looking at the judges feels impossible. His voice emerges thin at first, then steadies, finding strength and vulnerability. Each note carries why